So hopefully you can all see this. So we're going to be building compelling video for knowledge mobilization. Definitely check out Spark. That is our new website right there. So if you would like to do that. And we kind of already talked about what you would like to gain from this session. So I'm going to just quickly talk about, so there's a few types of videos that you can make to capture people's attention. I think if you're looking at a younger audience, or if you have a lot of like graphs and a visual data that you want to present, sometimes animations are really good for that. I personally don't have the expertise in animation, but there are certain things that you can do in a video itself, and I can show you my Adobe Premiere Pro software that I use for editing video, how you can do that in there. Right now, where I want to like lean a little bit towards the in-person demonstrations and speaking to the camera. Because of we're in pandemic times, this often means that we can't actually go out and film. In fact, right now it's, I believe it's still illegal for photographers and videographers to be operating right now. So right now, your best option, if you would like to get a video done, is actually just speaking to the camera yourself. Or what I like recommending is, like, if you have a group of people that you're going to be using, is using your, if you want to go the inexpensive route, everybody has a very powerful smartphone, and you could use that to do the presentations, or to film your production, basically. So today I'm going to be focusing a little bit about how you can do it on your own at home without having to create a whole production. So this is just the basics. Again, defining your audience is huge. Susan mentioned that her audience was students, and for that, you have to decide, what to include and what not to include. Oftentimes, as a student myself, I can tell you that for learning modules and just videos in general, sometimes students will actually play the videos at, double the speed. Actually, I don't do double the speed. I do 1.2 times the speed to do that. So what you want to make sure is that your videos are concise and to the point, just like as an example, if you're hosting it for students. Definitely write a script and try to keep the video short, so it's easier to consume in one sitting. Sounds funny to say, but realistically, people's attention spans are very quick, and that's when you get the phenomenon of, you see on social media, TikTok, Instagram, the videos are so short there. I believe they're only 60 seconds. So the idea is to keep all your information condensed, but in a short period of time. And the next step is, once I'm not here to talk to you about how to write a script, I'm here to tell you about how to film yourself and how to put together all those clips. So gather the tools that you need. So again, you don't need fancy gear to film your video. You can, if you have a DSLR, however, I highly recommend using that. You want to see if you have good lighting. So natural light is actually very, very helpful. But if you don't have that, I was actually talking to a colleague yesterday. We were talking about, I mentioned to her, hey, like the videos that you recorded were amazing. And she told me she bought these nifty little ring lights that you can actually clip onto your desk, and they're $12 each from Amazon, which is not very expensive. So if you don't have access to natural light, I would definitely recommend looking into something small where you can just have light on you. In fact, I might actually email her later and figure out what that link is, because I was telling my partner maybe we could use some of that for, say, for example, in my context for wedding speeches, if I just need to illuminate one portion. So yeah, you want to focus on your location, lighting, and the background. Right now, currently, I'm actually sitting in my bedroom, but being aware that, my bedroom, I don't want people to see my bed. I want to make sure that, the background is good. I would not recommend using a Zoom background, however, for your video. I would highly recommend you find either a clear wall, or you basically want like an area that's like free of distractions, or describes kind of like the location that you're at. I really like using brick walls sometimes, but you have to be careful with that, because if the light is too powerful, you wind up looking very yellow. The reason I recommend time of day is I personally like to use natural lighting. Natural lighting is by far the cheapest option and the easiest way to have even lighting over your face. So sometimes what will happen is people will film their videos in their offices, and what happens is that their office might have the light behind them, but they might not necessarily have a light in front of them. So what winds up happening is you have like these raccoon eyes because the light is covering your face. So something really big to pay attention to. This was actually a video that I made for Brighter Spark, and I'm not going to force you to watch the entire thing, but I'm going to just show you kind of snippets on how to put these videos together. So this was a video that we actually put together for the launch of Spark. And so yes, now we're known as Spark. Before we were known as Crest. But what you will see in this video is it was all filmed in December. It was all filmed in December, right from people's homes. So I'm going to hit play and
we directly support the work our partners are engaged in, helping them achieve rapid and significant progress.
So I'm going to point out a few things in this video. So the first clip, I'm just going to break it down a little bit for you. If you go to McMaster and you would like to use McMaster scenery, you actually have access to all of these resources. So if I go to brand.mcmaster.ca, and I can actually pull up all of the McMaster scenery. So you scroll down to the resource library, and I'm not sure if everybody is going to be using this, but if you are a student, faculty, or anybody going to McMaster, you have this amazing B-roll of the campus you can definitely use in your, this is winter. I personally prefer the summer video. So a lot of this, and you can download it in a very high format or high resolution. So it winds up looking fairly nice, actually. It winds up looking like you're there. Now, this second video, this is stock video. People know about stock photos, but they don't know about stock video at all times. So I'm actually going to show you, there are two. There is Unsplash. I don't know if you've heard of Unsplash before. You can get really nice photos and some videos as well. But what I personally like to use is Pexels. So if you are looking for stock video, definitely this is something that you want to take a look at. So and you know what, the thing about stock videos is it's actually really good, and best thing is it's free, and you can find basically anything that you're looking for. So if you're looking for like an academic background, academia, you can find some interesting things on like a library scene, which I actually personally really liked. I was trying to use them in the video. I'm going to mute this, but just so you can get an idea of like how to kind of put it together. This is Allison. She is in the meeting, and I'm going to unmute really quick. So here, Allison has fairly even lighting, and you can see her. And the best of all is you can hear her well. So
So when I first started in the...
This is Kelly, she's a partner. So I want to contrast a little bit about using a DSLR versus using like the tools that you already have. So I think one of the bigger struggles that people have is thinking that, okay, we want to build a video, but then you need to invest in all this gear, whether you need to rent out a DSLR, that kind of thing. You don't necessarily always have to do that. And if you do want to really go that DSLR route, the McMaster Library, so the Leon's New Media Center, they will actually allow you to rent out some of this gear, which is amazing. And it's actually, now that I see this, you can have access to Adobe Premiere on there. So I highly recommend looking into that if you are looking into, either renting out gear and equipment in particular. So for audio, hold hold on, where is it? Microphones and headphones. What you can use actually is a lavalier mic. With these videos, the way that we recorded them was actually in a Zoom meeting. So this is Kelly. She is one of our partners at Spark. She had a lot of really nice things to say about us for our launch video. So we definitely said, hey, Kelly, would you be willing to hop onto a Zoom call with us? So at that point, she recorded, we recorded kind of like what she had to say about us, and we were able to take that and put it into this nice video. But the idea is you don't need super fancy gear. What I personally use at weddings is actually using a lavalier mic. So a lavalier mic, it will essentially, you can actually clip it onto your shirt or onto your blazer, and it's very discreet, and it's very good to record your audio in one take. So the thing, however, is this audio will be separate from what you are saying on the camera. So this mic will not be connected to your camera. In the most ideal scenario, this mic is connected to the person, and the recording device is put into their pocket. So I'm actually going to jump on over to my editing software to kind of show you how the back end of that looks. So this is the video that we put together for Spark, and I'm just going to see, okay, so it is unable to locate the music. So this is the music track that I had in here. That is another thing that you can choose to incorporate. I personally like using music in my videos just because it makes everything a little bit more engaging and easier to kind of use. So just by a quick either comment in the chat, which editing software would you use if you were to edit a video, just so I can see whether or not this will be helpful to you. Would you like me to go through kind of like my editing process? You can just comment in the chat or unmute and let me know. Okay, so I'm going to go through the editing process. Oh, yes, and I'd really like to know how to do voiceovers. Okay, voiceovers, okay, not needed, okay. So, I'm just going to show you really quickly. I'm going to blaze through this if that's something that you are looking at to make your life a little bit easier. So voiceovers and editing. So here's what I'm going to say to you. So on this screen, you can kind of see this is the audio track that I used, and I want to show you kind of the original track that I had to work with. This was the original track I had to work with, and you can see like a lot of these dips. These are the pauses in speech, because a lot of the times, like, you know, when you request people to kind of just like film a little piece for you, it winds up being a very long piece that is sometimes a little bit hard to wrangle. So what I like doing, so this was, I'm just going to put this on here. What I like doing with these kind of clips is actually when you scroll over in whichever editing software that you use, these big dips, I can just make a cut in them and say, okay, I'm just going to use this part. This is nice. This is nice. So this is an easy way for me to actually just go through the entire footage very quickly and see this is what's needed and what's not. So what I actually recommend when you are recording yourself is one mistake that people will make is while they're reading from their script, they will actually just continue reading, and they will read and then they will like not look up at the camera. What I would recommend doing instead would be to read a line and then look at the camera and then say the line. And I find that usually really helps you in just elevating the quality of your video. Now, in terms of voiceover, so the approach is very similar. So what you want to do here with voiceovers is, again, I recommend using any recording device. If you have access to a lavalier mic, definitely go ahead and check that out. So that will probably give you the best audio, like the best of the best audio for a person speaking, because that mic will hook on right onto your blazer. Now, if you're looking for a little bit less alternative to that, is actually using just a basic Rode mic. But what you can do is actually connect it to the top of your DSLR camera and use that for better So yes, recording yourself is hard, but it really doesn't have to be. The software that I just showed you was Adobe Premiere, but if you are at McMaster, you actually get, faculty gets free access to Camtasia. And you know what, if you have an option to record yourself like that, and that's amazing. One thing that I want to recommend actually is for Susan, for example, if you have a lot of content that you want to share on your screen, for example, like say if there is like a tool that you're showing your class how to use, I would highly recommend using something called the OBS recorder. So OBS recording, so open broadcaster software, and it's very easy to get it set up. And I'm just going to see if I can actually show you how it looks here on my end. This is very helpful if you are trying to capture basically your screen. If you're trying to capture your screen, it's sometimes I would say it's a little bit more effective than using like Zoom, for example. So I'm just going to change the screen share to, just so you can see that as well, that this is a tool that I will recommend to people often. So right now it's capturing my audio. So this is what it looks like. And I can add, say, for example, display capture, and I can say, okay. And yep, that's good. Okay. And then basically what I can do is I can say, okay, well, go into this specific screen and like set that up for me. But I would recommend looking into this particular software if you are looking to, I can change the URL, but I would look into this one. And what you can do is basically record your entire screen and have it be a part of your component of your video. So I'm trying to clear this up because I know I use this for audio otherwise, but definitely look into that. Would you use native screen capture on an Apple product, or do I need extra software? So I don't actually have experience on Apple, but I'm going to quickly just like share my screen with you again. So with Apple, I do think you can also still use OBS if you can, but if Apple has the capacity to just capture your screen without having an additional software, definitely use that. It might actually just make your life a little bit easier. I want to say, like, with video, like recording a video and putting together a video, the biggest component is actually just making sure that the whatever you're using, like whatever content you're using is a good size, bite size, and it's concise. I think that's what makes a video like nice. And that's why now you don't see the trend of having like 2-3 hour long wedding videos. Now you have like maybe 5-10 minute videos. But also when you look closely at advertising campaigns, they're not very long either. It's people know that like advertising companies know that you have a very short they have a short attention span from the consumer, so they want to kind of just like, you know, capture your attention immediately. But yeah, so
jumping on one quick thing on that. So you know, in academia, it can be really important that we want to get across a full point, and it's not always simple. And so one way to do that is to do it stepwise, where you do simple introductory videos that get people excited, that then allow you to do a longer video, and you have more confidence that you're going to hold their attention.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's huge, because otherwise that's where you wind up losing people. So what I tend to do in my photography business is, this is something that if you are running a consultation business on the side, or you have some sort of kind of like collaboration with a group, is this is something that I've started doing new, and it's worked amazing for me, is you want to record a bite size, like, you know, 60 second clips, not 60 minute, if you are trying to like get in contact with someone. And this has worked really well. In fact, I even like sent one to a recruiter and I wound up getting an interview for September. So, which is pretty exciting because all you have to do is say, hello, my name is Supriya. I just wanted to reach out to you personally. Because right now you can do that. Right now you can do that because we're in a pandemic era. So capturing people's audience is, capturing people's attention is huge. So keeping your videos concise is very important. Soundstripe is another tool that you should be aware of. It's where you can actually get stock music, and I know people don't always like having music in their videos, and depending on like what purpose you're using it for, it winds up being very helpful for that. And it's very powerful. And you know what? If you're making like a few videos at a time, you can think about incorporating music in that as well.
Can I jump in quickly on that, Supriya?
Sure.
You know, coming from academia, I had a lot of skepticism about music, and you'll see if you watch the Brighter Spark videos that Supriya got us to have music in the background. And you know, I was worried in talking that it was going to be disruptive, but actually it somehow it calms down the talking so that it's not so central.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked at how much it added.
And I think, yeah, so definitely check out this one, the Allison, is this the business video? This is the business video, right? Yeah, so I would definitely recommend watching this video because in this video we've had a few speakers. So we had Kelly, we had Allison, we also had, I'm just skipping forward a little bit, we had the dean, who else? We had Marissa. We had a few people, and I would recommend watching this video, and just to kind of like see how we put it together. You'll notice that there's no like crazy
it's intimidating
transitions
to kind of
or anything.
bridge the gap between healthcare and.
But like each of these videos, and it sounds like a lot, but like each of these videos that were in there, like I think Allison's wound up being, the total video that I had was about an hour, and that's where those dips in the audio helped so much trying to decide where to cut them. And likewise with Kelly's, we had like some we had a lot of good content, and sometimes that's the struggle, trying to like just pick only the best of the best. And it helps, like say if you have a team that you're working with, to have one script and have everyone kind of read from the same script, and then be able to just kind of like pick and drop little segments into your software. I highly recommend checking that out. So if you are looking to build like a video, just to get an idea on where to start. One thing I want to mention is I'm going to go to the beginning of this clip. So right over here, I'm going to hit play.
Significant progress for businesses.
And okay, so you see this title that came up. If you are at McMaster, you have access to this title template. So if you go to the same page, brand.mcmaster.ca, you can actually download that. So, and you can customize it to each speaker. This just cleans up your video a little bit and makes it look a little bit more like, if you are making a McMaster video, makes it look a little bit more McMaster. So definitely something I would recommend looking into. I'm going to type it in. So this is the one, if you are looking for this, I'm going to drop the link to this in the chat. And if you would like to do that, if you would like to use that at some point, I believe you can use this in Adobe Premiere and that kind of thing. Adobe Premiere, and let me see if you can use it in Camtasia, because I know you have access to that. I think you should be able to use it in Camtasia, but otherwise you can definitely use it in Adobe Premiere, which I believe, I don't know if they removed that, because I know McMaster was offering access to that earlier in the year. But definitely something worth looking into. And if you're looking for like a powerful editing software, it's something that you could perhaps look into even getting a subscription to that. even if it's just for a month. But otherwise, I'm going to go back to my presentation again. Are there any questions that you might have for me? I know I kind of just like zoomed through the presentation, but I do want to give you a little bit more time to talk one-on-one and see kind of if there's anything in specific that I might have missed that you would like more clarification on. To cancel that. Feel free to either unmute or even comment in the chat.
I've got something. Do you have, do you know of any good tutorials for some of for like Camtasia or the Adobe product to, get over the slide?
Yeah.
I don't know why I have that anxiety about like, I'm afraid I'm just going to accidentally delete all my material.
Oh, for Camtasia or for Adobe?
Either.
So for Adobe, you know what? Adobe actually offers their own tutorials on. I'm only talking about Adobe because that's what I'm a little bit more familiar with. But they do offer their own tutorial videos, and they're very quick. And the nice thing about actually like if you do wind up using Adobe Premiere is there are some like very quick segments that I haven't gone to like a school personally for learning video editing, but I've learned so much that I'm able to do this professionally and able to like, offer this as like a service to people. But there's a lot of free content on just like YouTube, but I'm going to drop the link to the actual website. So there's two that I use. I use something called Motion Array, and they have some nice tutorials about Adobe Premiere, but I do find the actual Adobe website is very helpful for that. So they have very good documentation in general for all of their products, and even for like, Photoshop and Lightroom and that kind of thing. Very strong entire suite of things. Awesome. So if anything comes up, feel free to contact us